Welcome back to Sledgehammer Horror, guys. I am Ken Sledge, and let's talk horror. Now, today I am joined by the beautiful Crystal Gorski. Crystal, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am doing very well. I am so excited to finally meet you and make this happen. But
Yes, me
before we
too.
talk about why you are here, Crystal, I would like for the people that don't know you to get to know you a little bit. You are a multi-talented individual, an actress, model, voiceover actor who's been making yourself a name in the entertainment industry for a while now. But before we talk about that, I want to talk about something a little more important. Not that that's not important, but you are a breast cancer survivor, and that had
Yes.
a big impact on your life. You became a vocal advocate for breast cancer awareness, and you use your platform to promote mindfulness and positivity as important tools for overcoming adversity. Now, first and foremost, congratulations on beating cancer. Fuck cancer. I'm so proud of you.
Thank
How
you.
long have you
Thank you
been a
so much.
survivor for?
So it'll be 4 years in June. I have my scans coming up in June. So June, July. Yeah.
Congratulations. I'm
Thank you.
so proud of you. And way to go for using this platform as a way to get awareness out there,
Yes,
positivity out
absolutely.
there. I know when you hear the big C, it's very easy to get depressed and down and scared. And
Yes,
the impact that positivity can have on something like that. Um,
it's
Now with
huge.
breast cancer, yeah, and I want to make this very clear. Breast cancer does not only affect women. Men can be affected by breast cancer. While it's not
Yes.
as prominent, it does happen. Now,
Mhm.
I don't want to get too deep into this because that is something extremely personal, but what advice could you give somebody in, like for awareness, for preparation, for, just checking yourself to make sure you don't have, I don't need like a visual
Yeah.
aid, but
No,
like, what are
no,
some of the
there's,
things you would do to be precautious?
yeah. I mean, so I was diagnosed at a young age. They don't even start really scanning you until you're in your 40s, so I was in my 30s. And the biggest thing that I can say is if you think there's something wrong, go get it checked out. Don't ever if something feels different, if something looks different, just go to the doctor. Have them do scans, have them take a look for it, but always do a self-exam. There's people in their 20s getting breast cancer, and the type that I have is called, well, had, is triple negative breast cancer, and it's a more rare form. Only 10 to 15% of all breast cancers are triple negative. And one of the things I can say is don't jump to Google, because what's going to happen is you're going to see everywhere that you're going to die. That's what it's going to
Yeah.
say. Your chances of survival are very slim. It likes to come back. It likes to come back in different places in the body, like your bones, your ovaries, your brain, things like that. So it's terrifying. So it's the first thing that you normally do nowadays when you get some kind of a diagnosis is you Google it. Like, okay, so
Yeah.
and what's the percentage that I can make it? So the biggest thing for me is just try not to pay attention to that, or you're going to get in a really bad headspace. Find support groups. Like, support groups are huge.
Mhm.
And join them and talk with people that are going through it, people that have went through it, people that are survivors. One of the things that I see a lot in a lot of the Facebook groups and stuff like that I joined is that as soon as you're done with the journey and, like a year out from treatments and stuff, people tend to kind of leave the groups because they don't want a daily reminder of everything, or maybe it's too hard for them to talk about it because not everybody can talk about it because it can be
Yeah,
very
absolutely.
emotionally traumatic. um, so I like to stay in the groups and I like to check back and things like that, but the biggest thing is your body. If something isn't right on your body, it, like, and a lot of people, they'll be like, oh yeah, I don't need to go to the doctor, it's just a little lump, it's probably nothing. And mine was a little lump and it was probably nothing. And that's what my doctor said. She's like, but we're going to get it scanned anyways. And the other thing I would say is if your doctor's like, it's probably nothing, and they don't want to give you a mammogram, tell them you want the mammogram. Fight for
Right.
that. Fight for your health. Because if I hadn't gotten it, who knows if I would even be here today. So,
Sure. And
yeah.
like you said, it's better to get it and be wrong than not get it and be right.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So with the triple negative, so I was diagnosed, I got the phone call on July 3rd. It was 2 days after my biopsy, and it was the pathology report came back. It was a 10 millimeter lesion. And I had surgery on the 29th. So less than 4 weeks later, I had surgery and it was already 15 millimeters. So triple negative grows really, really fast. And the bigger that it is, the more chances for lymphovascular invasion, which is where it will get into your lymph nodes and circulate through your body. And that's when it can attach to other things. And, that, so really catching it early is key to, making sure that you can have either a faster recovery, a better chance of recovery. It's good. Don't wait. Don't ever wait if you think something's wrong. So
I completely agree. And your health is more important than anything I'm doing here on this channel. So when it comes to
thank
something
you.
like that, it's always important, guys, to make sure that you are going out, you are doing the right things to take care of yourself, not just for yourself, but for the people around you that love and need you too. So make sure
Yeah.
your health is always number one. Now, you were able
Yes.
to overcome that. And not only are you an inspiration to people that are battling it, you're an inspiration to survivors, and you're
Thank you.
still channeling yourself with your art. Like I said, you are still making a name for yourself, being, not just an actress or a model or a voiceover artist, which is all three completely different ends of the spectrum. But
Yeah.
you do have roles like Harlow's Haunt, Denial, and you did in some ATL Homicide. So
Yeah.
do you have any? I know NDAs exist, and I also know that NDAs are a huge pain in the ass. But is there anything that you have coming up that you can tell us about?
Yeah. So I have a lot of really cool stuff coming up. I was recently cast in Doomsday. Aaron Hawkins wrote the film, and that's like one of my dream roles. All I can really say is Doomsday obviously sounds like it's going to be doom and gloom. So I have a strong female character that I play, and it's what I've been wanting to do. Like, so I really wanted to be in the Walking Dead family. That's still like a goal of mine. I know that,
Yeah.
and I'm kind of a nerd. I actually cried when they announced it was over, and I'm like, that's okay. I'll be in Fear the Walking Dead. And then they announced that was ending. So I got a little bit emotional about that too. And then I'm like, you know what? They have like 12 spinoffs. So I'm just going to be in a spinoff. It's fine. It's
Right.
fine. So I'm still working towards that. But this film is probably the closest to like, the Madison Clark that I could get,
Sure.
in a film. So I'm really excited about that. And the script is amazing. I can't wait. I can't really say much, but the script is really good. There's a lot of, oh my gosh, moments in it. So that'll be cool. And then I was recently cast in Unseen. It's a film by Steve Merlo, and he did the Sawyer Massacre. Yes.
My dude.
Yeah. So you've seen it, right?
I know Steve.
Okay. Oh, okay. Steve. So yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, so here's the thing. I'm like, I worked with Lexi Graves on Wheelies last year, and I was following her on social media, and she had posted that she was in the Sawyer Massacre. So, and I love to support all indie films. Like if I know that it's made by good people, or I know that the people in there are really, putting their heart and soul into it, I connect myself to it any way I can on social media. And I'd like to share, because that's how we're going to get ahead in this industry, is sharing each other's work. We have to share it.
It's a family.
Yes, we have to work together, we
Yes.
really do. So I saw that it was posted. It was actually the day it came out. I just told Steve this story a couple of days ago. I was laying in bed, and I, of course, before I even got out of bed, I scroll Facebook, and I'm like, oh, okay, new movie, clicks. And I sat here and I watched it in bed. Yeah, I'm in bed, sorry. I sat and I watched it in bed before I even got up to like do anything for the day. And I was just floored. Like, what an amazing film. The cast is amazing. It was shot so well. I love the story. Like, it was incredible. So I was very impressed. So I'm like, vision board. I have a vision board where I write down people that I want to work with, projects that I'd like to work on. So his name went on my vision board. And I was just kind of, waiting around, and I was sharing his film and stuff because it was excellent. Why wouldn't you share it? Sorry, my cat is like rolling around on my lap here.
You're totally fine.
Yeah. So I'm sharing it, and Steve was like, thanks. And I was like, yeah, of course, and anytime, like, the movie's freaking amazing. And I told him, I can really see that you put like blood, sweat, tears, like the whole shebang into this film. And I would love to work with you in the future. And he's like, well, send me your stuff. So I sent him my stuff. And a few months later, I heard from him. He's like, I have a movie. And I auditioned, and then he got back to me, said I got the role. And I was so floored, so grateful. I had gotten something else earlier that week, or just maybe even that day, and I'm just crying. Like, I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I'm very open with vulnerability and letting emotions flow through you. And I was just like, I was a mess. I called my friend, like, I'm just so happy.
Yeah. But and Steve's a great guy, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Like, I've known Steve for a couple years, and he's one of those guys that when he puts his nose to the grindstone, like, he goes hard and he's ready
Yeah.
to go. So I can't wait for Unseen. I'm
Yeah.
very excited to see the product that you guys are going to create for us.
Oh my. It's the script is really good. It's
Right.
really good. So
I I
yeah, I'm
cannot wait.
excited.
I'm very,
Yeah.
very excited to see that.
Yes, yes. So we're excited to make it and show the world too. I know that. So yeah, very cool stuff. So I'm super excited about a lot of things. Gunter Hansen, he cast me in Annihilator, which is going to be a limited series that films next year. What else do I have coming up? Halloween Death Walks Among Us 2 with Rick Danford. I filmed that in May or June, and then a big one that I'm not starring in, but I'm going to be second AD on The Woodman, which films in June. We're going to be in Georgia for a week, and it's a really cool concept. Joshua Bruckner is very creative, and we have Jake Robinson on the camera. Very good cast. We have Bryden DeGennaro. We have Dan Grogan, and then Anna Clary. I know there's a few other in there. Gosh, I can't remember. Nino Hunter, I think, is another one. So just, I mean, a really great cast. So it's going to be a phenomenal film. I can't wait to work on that. But that'll be my first time being an AD on a project. So I'm stoked. So,
I'm very excited for you. And
yeah,
you have
thank
all
you.
these things coming up that you're so excited about. And the good thing about that, guys, is I know that was a lot of information for you to take in, but you don't have to take it all in right now because all of Crystal's social media links are down in the description. So make sure you're following her on social media so you can stay up to date on the thousands of amazing products that she has coming up for us. The amazing projects, not products. Same thing.
I mean, we could
All
create
these,
a merch line if you want. I mean,
there you go. All the amazing projects she has
yes.
coming up for us because I know that you're going to want to check these out, especially like I said, she's working with Steve Merlo on Unseen. You guys have seen Steve on the channel a couple different times. Amazing guy with a great creative mind. I'm very excited for some original work from him. You know, the Sawyer Family Massacre is a fantastic Texas Chainsaw fan film. I'm
Yes.
very excited to see what he pulls out of his own brain because it's fucking huge and the guy's a genius. So I'm very excited.
Yes.
And Crystal's going to be a part of that project. So we got the beauty, the brains, the script. I'm just so excited to see everything that goes into this film. So in order, Crystal,
Me
for you
too.
to in
Me
order for you
too.
to be starring in horror films and be such a big part of the horror community and even becoming an an AD and doing things like that, which are so special to you, I know. In order for that to happen, horror had to start for you somewhere. So I would like to go back to the past and talk about
Okay.
what got you started in the horror genre, your first horror movie. And Crystal, the first horror movie you watched was
First horror movie that I watched. Well, it's kind of like a horror fantasy movie, but Alien. When I was younger, I would sneak out. Like my parents would be watching movies, and I would sneak out of my bedroom, and I would just be like kind of peeking. And my dad always watched Alien, and I watched the alien come out of the chest, and now it's on everybody's freaking out, the blood splattering everywhere. It was just the coolest freaking thing I'd ever seen,
yeah.
so that's really what got me obsessed with the movies. And I'm not going to date myself or anything, but I worked at Hollywood Video where we treat the customers like the stars a long while back. And I just collected all this VHS, and I have the original box copy of Alien, Aliens, and Alien 3. I also have the original box copy of Halloween and Halloween 2 on VHS. So like, I can't get rid of some of this stuff. It sits in a bin, and I don't even have a VCR anymore, but I'm never going to get rid of it. So yeah, that's kind of where it started as far as with the films.
See, and it's funny, two things. One, I will fight tooth and nail to the death that Alien is a horror movie. I know there's people out there that say it's not a horror movie. Alien is a total fucking horror movie. And two, I grew up in a video store. My mom and dad owned a mom and pop video store called Downtown Video.
Love
So I know
it.
all about that too. So
Yes.
do you remember about how old you were the first time you had seen Alien?
I was probably 4 or 5. I
Very
was
young age when
young.
we see in a movie like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I was
Well,
young.
do you think that watching a movie like this, with Sigourney Weaver, you talked earlier about wanting to play a very
Yes.
strong female role. Do you think that Ripley has a big part of that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's not many people I would fangirl over. Sigourney Weaver would be one of them. I would probably cry. Because I
Oh,
mean, I grew up, I could recite every word from Alien and Aliens, literally every single word, and she's just, she is the OG strong female character, last woman standing, in any movies for me, so yeah, absolutely.
and she has one of the, it's not from Alien, but it's from Aliens. She has one of the best one-liners from any of your female protagonists of all time.
Get away from her, you bitch!
like one of hands down the best one-liners
the,
of
the thing is it's not even the lines though, too. Look at her body language. So she's looking at the queen alien and she's looking at her and they're backing up and then the fucking egg opens and then she looks up and she's like, all right, time to fuck up your babies. Like it was just like the perfect. She didn't even have
yeah.
to say anything. You just knew what was about to happen. So very well
And
done.
it is one of those things. I've talked about this a lot on the podcast. So for repeat viewers, I'm sorry, but that's something I love about horror is horror has never, made women weak. Horror has always had its, I know there's kind of stigma around the name, but the final girl, or the strong female lead where you have the woman that is kicking the shit out of the guy that's trying to kill her, and I feel like
Yes.
horror was always ahead of the curve when it comes to casting amazing female leads that are going to come out there and make you remember them because of the
Yes.
power they have to take out the villain, whether it's a man in a mask, a man in your dreams, an alien on a ship, aliens on a ship. It doesn't matter. Your female leads are going to come out here and kick the shit out of that guy because they're not your, oh, please, damsel in distress.
Yeah.
They're the badass as well, even if they have to have it pulled out of them. So, we touched on it a little bit, but I really want to go on a deep dive into this now. Alien is a movie that has affected a lot of people in so many ways. And it also has one of the best taglines of all time. In space, no one can hear you scream. But when you are 4 or 5 years old, your parents can hear you scream, and so can other people on the block. So I want to know which scene it was, Crystal, that affected you the most from Alien.
I mean, I told you about it. When the alien comes out of the chest, because here's the thing, everybody's just kind of, bullshitting at the table and everything seems fine. And we're laughing and we're just enjoying food together. And then suddenly, which is really cool. And I'm pretty sure you already know that they didn't know that was going to happen. Right. So I didn't know that until, 20 years down the line, but it really made it just so much more realistic to see the look on everybody's face when that blood splattered. They're like, what just, okay, yeah, everybody stay in character. Like, what an amazing job by the entire cast, right? Like, I don't know, the whole thing. And that's just the actor and me breaking it down now. But as a kid, it was just like, oh my God. And then I'm looking at it, I'm like, what is that thing? And then a little while later, I saw it happen on Spaceballs. And I'm like, wow, does this happen in like a lot of movies? Like as a kid, you just don't know. But you know what I'm saying, though. But it wasn't scary. It was fascinating. That's the difference, And I think that's why I like the genre so much, is because it is fascinating,
It 100% is. And one of the most accepting genres in the world, people that go all in for horror. There's such an amazing community here. Obviously, every community has shithead gatekeepers. We know that. But overall, I love being a part of the horror community. Like you said at the beginning, we're always rooting for each other. We're always pulling for each other. We always want each other to succeed. And, to be able to meet all these kind people that are a part of the genre is always super special to me as well. So we know which scene affected you the most, Crystal, from Alien. But what would you say your favorite scene from the film is?
I would say it's probably when they go down into the ship and you can see like the field of eggs, and then the egg opens and it's like, what's happening? It's so mysterious. And, then suddenly there's this thing moving inside of this weird giant egg, like the whole thing was just so eerie, like, what is that? So yeah, I'd say that was probably my favorite because I didn't know what was going to happen. I had no clue.
Sure. And that's another big thing about this movie is just the suspense of never knowing. And this is one of the movies I've talked about before. I don't have a 4K release of this film because I don't want to watch it. I still have my VHS of this film too. And when we watch it, we watch the VHS because this is one of those movies that was filmed to be watched in dark. It's supposed to be dark and gritty and scary. And you're not supposed to know what's in the shadows. And that's what I love about the VHS copy of this film. I want to be able to adjust the tracking a little bit just so I can get that little extra fear of not knowing exactly what's happening. So Alien is part of a bigger franchise. The whole franchise is pretty big at this point. Is the original your favorite? And if not, what is your favorite film in the Alien franchise?
Okay, so I'm not gonna I don't want to badmouth anything. So let's just talk about like the good ones, right? So I love the first movie. The second, we're just gonna leave it at that. The second movie is, I think, probably my favorite. So the first one was terrifying. The second one, I loved it for the action. So that was
Mhm.
more of an action film to me than a horror film.
Yeah.
And then the third one particular scene always stands out to me. And it's when they're in one of the tunnels and the alien picks up a guy and he fucking kills the guy, pardon my French, and the blood splatters all over the guy in front of him and it's running down his face. And he looks up and you look at the alien and the blood is on the alien. And the alien fucking smiles and the blood just goes down his teeth. And I
Yeah.
was like, yes, it was so amazing. So yeah, I mean, after that, we're just not going to discuss the movie. But yeah, so I would say definitely second one for the action. The cast was great. I mean, look at some of the cast we have in the second one. The storyline was excellent. The Queen alien is amazing. I mean, everything about her, the details and her egg sac and just every little piece of her was just incredible.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I got.
No, well, I think the second one is probably the better made film. I think I'll always be partial to Alien just because like that was the first one I seen. It gave me like an instant feeling of fear and terror, because especially when you're watching this as a young kid and you're just figuring out about aliens and things like that, and then you see
Yes.
this movie, you're like, no, they can stay up there. It's cool. I don't need to meet them. Like, we're all good down here.
Don't land on LV-426. Don't do it. Just don't. Just stay away from there. Stay on the ship.
So we know about Alien being your first horror movie and how much that movie means to you. But now here for a second, Crystal, I do want to throw you a little bit of a curveball. My little buddy Ghostface is here, and he has a question for you.
Okay.
What's your favorite scary movie, Crystal? What is your favorite horror movie of all time?
I mean that would probably be it. But I mean a close second. So Michael Myers just he scares the crap out of me. I just there's something about him moving slow and creepy and just he doesn't die or anything like that too. So he's always going to be coming for you no matter what. So you never know when he's going to be there and you always have to watch your back. So that to me is really creepy. I hate someone watching you from the window. So like when a stranger calls too, that was so creepy. I couldn't do windows for, I don't know, since I was younger until now. Like I have to have the window closed. I don't like stuff in the closet. I don't like stuff under the bed, and I can't do clowns. So that being said, I love the terrifying people, and the movies were really well done. But I like clowns scared the shit out of me. So yeah, that's kind of it. I think I went off track a little bit, but
no, that's fine because I agree with you. I think the Terrifier franchise so far is awesome. I'm very excited to see what we get next. I hope we can get some continuation of the Little Pale Girl. I think that would be fantastic. I'm very excited for what Damien Leone has coming up, and like what they just did with Terrifier 2 in the box office, and it's incredible. Like it is
absolutely
so incredible, and I'm so proud of David and Damien and Amelie and all them. Like it's just such an incredible thing, and I couldn't be any more proud of all of them. And they're helping to put indie horror on the map for everybody.
Absolutely.
And
I did talk with some of them because I just saw them this weekend. I got to meet for the first time. I met Damien and the cast, and I met the Levy brothers a few weekends ago. I'm actually wearing their bracelet here, so
that's awesome
to show them off a little bit. But so it's incredible. And I was telling them, we were watching as indie filmmakers from a distance what was going on, and it was incredible. It was just absolutely inspiring to see. And I told him, I'm like, I can't imagine what it was like to actually see it yourself and like to be experiencing that, like how exciting is that, the coolest part of it is, right? So now their movie did great. And you have all these people that, everybody wants to meet them now. Everybody wants to know the Terrifier people. And I watched it firsthand this weekend. The lines of people wanting all their stuff signed, wanting to talk to Damien, wanting to talk to David, wanting to talk to Laura, like wanting to talk to Mike and Phil, like everybody wants to talk to them. Everybody wants to be involved in their projects, but not one of them has a bloated head. They're all so humble. They're so grateful. Most of them are still kind of like in awe. You know what I'm saying? Like just the coolest people that you could ever meet. And that's what I just love more than anything about the entire Terrifier
Yeah.
group in general, and everybody involved, is that they just want to make movies. They want to make excellent movies. And if they can do that, they're happy, you know. And I don't think, somebody asked a question at the panel, which I'm sure the panel will air somewhere on YouTube, you know, about, you know, if he would, you know, sell the franchise or whatever. Like, I don't think that would ever happen. You know, a lot of places, a lot of people they end up selling the rights or whatever. Like, I feel like this is Damien's baby. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And he put so much into, you know, all of the different prosthetics and kill scenes, and like, yeah, it's all practical effects. You know what I'm saying? So really, like, the amount that they put into it really shows in the work, shows in the product. You know what I'm saying? It's not about pumping out movie after movie. It's about making excellent films. So it's amazing. It's really just very humbling. And I was very honored to like spend the weekend with them and being able to hear their stories and, you know, get a little bit of insight on how it came to be. So very cool stuff.
And not only did you have Terrifier 2, but you had Skinamarink. You know, whether you love or you hate Skinamarink, the amount of money that made on I mean, that movie had like a $15,000 Canadian budget, you know, and look what that did in cinema. So as indie filmmakers, as indie film fans, these movies showed that go out there, make a great product, and you never know what could happen. So that's something that I always want to push to people. If you have a dream, you have maybe, if you're lucky, 100 years on this planet. Don't take a second of that for granted. Go out there, do what you want to do, be who you want to be, and try as hard as you fucking can, because eventually you won't be able to. So while you have this opportunity, seize every opportunity that you possibly can, because I promise you, you don't want to look back in 20 years and say, damn, I wish I would have tried. So just remember that if you remember anything. Yeah.
I want to add to that. So, you know, you kind of asked how I got into doing this to begin with, and we talked about the cancer. And there was a time during the cancer treatment where I didn't know if I was going to make it. And oddly enough, I was actually like crocheting stuff for my family to remember me by. Like, that's how bad I had gotten mentally. And that's why I talk a lot about mental health and mindfulness and making sure you're taking care of yourself, you know, mentally, physically. And I thought about everything that I hadn't done and everything that I wanted to do. And I had done the family and I had done the business. You know, we had an IT business for years. And I always wanted to go back to film because I was in a couple films when I was younger before I started, you know, my whole, I don't know, adulthood, I guess you could say. So once I recovered, it took me like a year after chemo to recover. So it was like mid to end 2021, I was finally able to like do things like go up and down the stairs and stuff again. And I was like, I'm going to do what I want to do every day for the rest of my life now. I'm going to dedicate myself to it, and I am not going to stop until I get to where I want to be. So my ambitions are extremely high. And I think that that's a great thing. They should be there. So every single day I try to meet new people, make new connections, you know, do another monologue, make sure I'm auditioning, getting myself out there, trying to make this work for me, because this is what I want to do. I want to make movies. Whether I'm in front of or behind the camera, that this is 100% what's going to make me happy and fulfilled in this life. So yeah, for what you said, just don't stop every day. Just go, do it. So
my mom was 50 and she didn't wake up. So, I mean, you never know when that day is going to come. So if you have something in this life you want to do, you want to pursue, don't let excuses hold you back. Make it happen, because you're going to regret it if you don't. So I've had an amazing time with you, Crystal, not just because we've talked about your first horror movie and everything, but some of the personal things about you and what an inspiration that you are. Like I said, guys, all her social media links are down in the description. So make sure you're following her for some more positivity and to stay up to date on every project that she has coming up in the future. So before I let you go, Crystal, we always bounce back to the same question. And we're going to bounce back to Alien. And what we're going to do is rank this film on a skull count. Now, we're not ranking Alien on acting, production, score, direction, nothing like that. We're not critics. What we're doing here is strictly ranking Alien on how much it affected you on your first viewing. So 0 skulls being not effective, 5 being extremely effective. You can use half and quarter skulls anywhere in the middle. Crystal, what would your ranking of Alien be?
It would definitely be a 5. There's no pieces, there's no halves, there's no quarters. definitely a 5. Like it just,
Yeah.
it started me down my sick path, you know.
And it's amazing because, like I said, if you didn't sneak out and watch Alien that day, who knows if that would be the Crystal I'm talking to right now. So
It's so true.
I'm very excited for what the future has for you. I hope that we get to cross paths again.
Me too.
Please don't go anywhere though, Crystal. I have a couple more questions for you. Everybody else, if you haven't already, please make sure you like and subscribe. It really does help the channel more than you know. And if you haven't, follow Sledgehammer Horror on social media. All our links are down in the description as well. But until next time, keep talking horror, stay what you are, and we'll see you guys soon.